Kansas City in 2 weeks.
You're not going to make the Super Bowl week. The cold in KC is going to kill you.
It very well might.
You should wear one of those hats
expensive.
on football night, like with the flaps over the ears.
That'd be Flappy Maddie.
Yeah, with wardrobe, if you're out there, give it a shot.
Can I tell you, they gave me a cap, because like Devin was wearing one. It was so cold in
Everybody
Philadelphia.
looks cold.
We were freezing, and so some people wore caps. And so I put one on. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm not really a cap guy, but I'm so freezing. What do you think? I put it on. And Kim, our makeup artist here, we all love Kim. Kim takes one look at me and goes, yeah, no.
Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. A happy Wednesday, a happy backup producer Pete Day here on the set.
We got a lot of news today, too, as well. So it's like Pete may actually have to pay attention. Pete may have to take his feet off of the...
You're asking a lot here right now.
Yeah, exactly.
We also have a frazzled backup producer Pete today. He hit a pothole on his way in. There was an incident on the roads.
Chaos.
Yeah, he's blaming the pothole. I would look at the man in the mirror because he's the one who hit the pothole. Right?
Well, listen, much like this show, he wasn't paying attention to the road. There you go. It's on brand for backup producer Pete, who has his feet on the counter and just kind of rolling the tape.
Yeah, we got it. Don't worry. Keep it open or close it out Wednesday. Your start sit questions. Blind date. Blind date will be back.
Yeah. Of course, America's favorite segment.
With a focus on the rest of this season's schedule. And Back to the Futures, we always have our favorite futures bets at the end of Wednesday's show. But like Matthew teased, a lot of Rotoworld Player news to get through here as we're still discussing this incident between Jalen Ramsey and Jamar Chase. Mike Tomlin, I think, had the appropriate response. Take a listen.
Mike Ramsey plays with an edge. I mean, he has his whole career. When something like that happens on Sunday, because the play before they had to be separated, was your message to him to try to simply remove himself from that stuff? And how do you, as a competitor, how do you sort of keep him from sort of,
I have no message if someone spits in your face. Do what comes natural.
That's right.
I think it was... It's a perfect answer.
It's a perfect. Mike, people have said this for years and years and years, that if and when Mike Tomlin ever decides to retire from coaching football, he will have many offers to be a broadcaster, and he should do it because he will be great at it.
He should take a seat on Fantasy Football Happy Hour.
Yeah.
Open invitation for Coach Tomlin.
He's the one who should do the pounding podcast with George Kittle, not you. Right. Mike Tomlin and George Kittle.
I'll host it.
I say you can host.
You can
I'll
host
it. I'll be the traffic cop.
Yeah.
I'll be the Connor Rogers.
That'd be great. You as a traffic cop.
Yeah.
It'd be more accidents in 30 minutes.
You'd be diverting people off the Brooklyn Bridge.
I'd be like Pete this morning.
Yeah, into the water. Into the water, George.
Yeah. So anyway, Tomlin's great. I totally get that. But I will just say this. Jamar Chase is a proud Fantasy Life investor. I stand with Jamar Chase.
Wow, that's a bold proclamation.
I have to listen. I'm not condoning the action.
If you haven't heard, he's suspended for a game.
He's suspended for the game
for
spitting on Jalen Ramsey. I'm not condoning the action. I never think you should spit on another man. But I also have to believe that there must have been something really awful said and multiple to generate that.
Hey, Gemma called you the Spittler.
The Spittler, fair enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have never spit on another human being. But there is fantasy.
Unfortunately, the investigation revealed there was no second spitter.
No, there was.
That was
exactly.
what they were relying on in the court of law.
Yeah,
there was no second spitter.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's suspended a game. The suspension's already been upheld. We've been
correct.
through the whole process of potential appealment. So now, how does it affect the rankings of the Bengals offense, Matthew? Because T. Higgins obviously gets a little bit of a bump here.
He does get a little bit of a bump. So there's 5 games that T. Higgins has played without Jamar Chase from 2022 and 2023. Chase played all the games last year. And obviously Joe Flacco's the quarterback, not Joe Burrow, which is when this is. So, it's not ideal, but it's what we have to go off of. In those 5 games, Higgins, averaged 20 fantasy points per game, over 102 yards per game. He was the number 1 wide receiver. Now, the downside here is he's likely going to see a decent amount of Christian Gonzalez as they take on the Patriots this week. So, could you see he's my wide receiver 6, just to be clear, though. I mean, Higgins, you're starting, he's a wide receiver 1, but, do I think he becomes suddenly Jamar Chase with a blow-up game? It's always possible, given how much Flacco throws and Higgins' talent, but Gonzalez has been pretty good this year. So, Higgins is a wide receiver 1 this week. I think you lower Joe Flacco. You don't love the matchup to begin with. And by the way, 33% of his passing yards so far have gone to Jamar Chase. You take away a guy that's basically a third of your offense right there. there.
He threw it to him 23 times the
Yes.
first time against the Steelers.
Right.
Simply ridiculous. The Jets game, he didn't realize that T. Higgins existed on the plan. Or it might have been the previous game. But in any case, I think kind of an interesting thing looking forward here, Connor, is like, what do you think the chances that Joe Burrow actually comes back?
I don't know how you put Joe Burrow on the field this year. This team is not going to be playing for anything.
They're
Joe
9-point dogs against the Patriots, so they're likely going to be 3-8 and done for the play. They're going to make the playoffs from 3-8 in the AFC. So I don't know. Is this a thing like Jason Tatum coming back from an Achilles where he wants to prove that he can get out there even if the team doesn't have aspirations to win the title?
It feels different in the NFL.
Yeah.
And it feels different for a quarterback that's always getting sawed in half.
That's the point. He's there. Like, it'd be one thing if they were in the playoff hunt. But you just think about, here's a quarterback that has had a lot of injuries throughout his career. And, like, they're not stupid at Cincinnati. Like, they know they've got the worst offensive line in football. So Joe Burrow is the franchise. Yeah. Like, he is the franchise. Also another proud Fantasy Life investor. But he is the franchise.
Stand by him.
Right. We also stand by Joe Burrow. Yes, this is a Joe Burrow.
We stand by Joe Burrow. You stand by Jamar Chase.
I stand by everyone. If you invest money in my company, yes, I got you. I got your back.
Come invest money, Jalen Ramsey and Jay Croucher Productions.
Yeah,
there we go. That'd be really good. Really, I'd be here for that battle.
What I'm going to say, though, so the other thing that's interesting, so anyway, I have Flacco at QB 18 just based on both the loss of Chase and the matchup with the Patriots. I will say, if you're desperate and there's potentially Andre Yoshevich becomes sort of interesting. He's had 2 games this year where he's had over a 15% target share, and he's averaging 13 fantasy points or over 13 fantasy points in both games where he's had at least a 15% target share. He had one game, the one game that Jamar Chase missed in 2023, that Yoshevich was there and, kind of part of it. Remember, Tyler Boyd had that role a few years ago. He had a 20% target share in that one game. So you just sort of see Yoshevich right there. You see what he did in the games where he's seen at least a 15% target share, 13.2, 18 in another one. I have at wide receiver 38. Like, if you're desperate, like I am in our league, like I picked him up this morning for our league for my matchup against Roto Pat because I'm, lost Mike Evans. I don't have Cortland Sutton this week. I'm banged up.
Yeah. The reason I asked about Burrow, and I understand it's not the high watermark of value for Chase or Higgins, but I think there's a real chance that the final month of the season, the starting quarterback is not Joe Burrow and it's not Joe Flacco either. I think that with Flacco, with how he's been banged up, the fact that he was still dealing with the shoulder issue off of the bye.
What are they going to do? Jake Browning again?
Well, I just don't think Flacco might not survive behind this offensive line. The fact he's already dealing with he looked completely done against the Steelers.
Yeah.
He didn't look like the same guy that he was before the bye when he was playing pretty well. Right. So I just think there is downside risk here. I don't think this team is going to be playing meaningful games the final month of the season. So
I agree with that.
I don't know. I'm not sure Joe Burrow is going to be thrown to Jamar Chase for 160 yards in Week 15 type of thing.
Yeah. Ved FF Happy Hour regular asks. He's
the chat likes to discuss amongst themselves.
Yeah, which is great. They're going back and forth. So he asked Scott, Yoshevich or Michael Wilson. I think the answer is Wilson. Just before we went on air, Amari DiMaccardo and Marvin Harrison Jr. ruled out already for the Cardinals game this Sunday. So Wilson, look, do I think Jacoby Brissett throws it almost 60 times again this time?
The completioner.
Yeah, I mean, the completioner, dude. NFL record holder, the completioner. So I don't think that they have the kind of volume that they did last week. But yes, Wilson, to me, Wilson is the answer. And I don't think it's all that close, honestly.
Yep, I agree. I hope you got the answer right, Scott.
Yes.
In the chat.
By the way, if you're trying to manage this as a Jamar Chase manager, you drink for free today.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough, right? You've gotten through the bye. You lost Joe Burrow. Like, you used a first-round pick on Jamar Chase.
Through it all.
You lose just Joe Burrow. You get through it with Flacco. He sort of saves your season. You get through the bye, and then you find out here, Week 12, a huge week, obviously, as you're trying to make the playoffs. Your guy is suspended. That's a tough break. So, anyway, Jamar Chase managers, if you have him on your team, you drink for free. And our league, it's Roto Pat, who I play this week.
Wow.
So there
Amazing
you go.
Timing.
It works out.
Wow.
Sometimes
Look at
it
the
works
luck
out.
turning for you.
I will say, though.
Is that not unbelievable?
It is a little
sucks.
bit. Although I will say this, though. I'm mad at all of you guys because RotoPat won the bidding for Emmanuel Wilson. Like, why couldn't someone have...
Oh, the great bidding war for Emmanuel Wilson.
Somebody should have stepped up.
I don't have money left.
I don't have any money
spent
either.
it all idiotically on Malik Washington.
Yeah, I don't have any. The good thing about Rotopat, even though he doesn't have Jamar Chase, he's a diehard St. Louis Cardinals fan, and they had a great season, so it's okay. Rotopat is doing okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We have another question here from Luke Davis. I like the camera angle with the peacock logo looking like a sweet hat on Matthew's head.
That's true. It kind of does.
You can't get
It
that
really
out of your
does.
mind
It's
now.
like,
It's really good call, Luke.
Yeah.
like the more you know.
Yeah. It's actually very distracting.
It is.
We shouldn't
Now
say
you
that
say.
word.
Now he says it. You can't unsee it.
Yeah.
That's right.
We can't move the logo.
But
It's
listen,
immovable.
just like we said at the open of the show, I'm not a hat guy. This also does not look good.
You just got to find the right
If
hat.
Kim, the makeup artist, were here, she'd be like, yeah.
It's because you wear like floppy hats, though. You have, like,
No,
the
this was like
Alabama
a this was
floppy
like a
hat.
no. This was like a knit hat. The one from
Right.
it was like just a cold,
you don't wear
knit.
knit hats.
Yeah.
You need the one with the ears that flips up.
Stop
Hey,
it,
Comrade Matty.
Comrade. Stop it. Maybe a beret. Maybe we'll do a beret.
Comrade Matty.
How about just like you know what they should do? They should invent a wig. That's also like really warm.
Warming?
So I could wear it and be like, oh look, Barry's got hair.
Nobody would be onto that.
No one would be onto that.
That's the worst disguise
Can
ever.
I tell, we have to
like
move
Denny
on.
Carter.
We have to move on to the show because obviously Pete hasn't even paid attention. And Pete should be
has
like,
stopped us
no one
at
has
all.
stopped us. I promise you we're getting to fantasy football here. But
He's trying to sort out his flat tires.
but the last thing I'll say is just whatever random Matty fact is that I thought about this, and I've still thought about this. I got approached like 2 or 3 years ago by a company that does like hair transplants. You know what I mean? Like they were like,
Big in Istanbul.
yeah, well, they just know. Like, this is a legit
fly you
company.
out?
And they wanted me to, like, do it. And I seriously thought about it. And I still have. Like, if I did it, I'd
What
obviously
made
have
you
to.
not do it? Didn't Brian Urlacher do this?
Yeah, Brian Urlacher did
good.
it. Yeah, exactly. So I thought about it. It might have even been the same company that Urlacher did it. I forget the name of the company that did it. But my thought was, like, I should do it. Like, and I would own it, obviously. I wouldn't just show up. Like, that was the thing. Urlacher just showed up one day, and you're like, wait, what? Where did this all come from? I would own it. I would be like, guys, I've made a deal to try to get myself some hair, and you're going to get to see me through the progress of it. That would be the idea. And
Right.
that would be the pitch.
Yeah.
Right. There's also like nothing shameful about it. Be like, yes, I look great with my new hair. Although we would ruthlessly make fun of you.
It would be
If you
tough
came
for
back
the-
next year with hair,
yeah.
we'd be like,
I
this
like
is
that
gonna
as
be
well because it'd be the company really going all in on you. Because if it didn't come back, it'd be a really bad look for the company.
Yeah, it would be.
Here's this journey I'm going on. Oh, wow, it's not coming back.
Yeah, it's not easy. Yeah, exactly. It's
Kira
Fantasy
in the
Football
chat.
Happy Hour with Jay Croucher. Yeah, exactly.
Akira in the chat goes, what is this show about?
Yeah,
We don't know.
Penix.
None of us know. I'll tell you what it is. And so keep it open, close it out.
Not yet.
We're not there yet?
More Cardinals news.
Oh, crap.
Hold on, Pete.
All right.
We'll get to Michael Penix. More Cardinals news because I actually track what's going on in the world. Trey Benson's practice window is opened.
Oh,
There you
I thought
go.
we were talking St. Louis Cardinals.
No.
And
Holiday.
Michael Penix is out for the year.
Matt Holiday. Yeah, he retired
Michael,
a while
right.
ago.
So Michael Penix, this is a tweet from Rap Sheet. Falcons quarterback Michael Penix Jr. does, in fact, need surgery to repair his ACL with 9 months of recovery at least coming. He sought the opinion of experts, including from Dr. Neil, Eltrachet. I apologize to Dr. Neil.
Elatrosh.
Sorry. Dr. Neil Elatrosh.
I like Elatré, though.
Yeah, I was
His
like,
business would be
like
booming if that
Ashane.
was
Eritrea?
Yeah.
Is that a country?
Anyway, Penix has an ACL sprain, but full reconstruction is needed. So Penix is done for the year. Drake London officially ruled out for this Sunday, or unlikely, very unlikely to play. I don't know if it's been official. He's not going to play.
Yeah.
So I did a radio hit on SiriusXM earlier this morning. They asked me about this question: what do I think the Falcons' offense looks like? And I said I think Tyler Algier becomes very flex viable. Bijan's going to get his, but I think they go run heavy. We talked about this a little bit. I don't want to go too much into it yesterday, Jay, but Kirk Cousins just looks done.
Yeah.
And Mooney's shown me nothing.
He's shown you nothing specifically. Yeah, no, I like it. I agree. They're going to run the ball as much as humanly possible. It's not the most difficult matchup against the Saints. I think it's going to look a little bit like how the Panthers' offense looked with Bryce Young before Bryce Young got fixed a week ago, seemingly. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's just terrible news out of Atlanta. Is this the 5th time in 8 years that Penix has had like a serious?
I think this is his 3rd ACL, but yeah, he's had
multiple.
This, I would call it the 5th serious injury. It's a real shame. Going back to Indiana in college, and then he transferred to Washington and got himself back on track, and now here we are again.
I'm an objective person, like to look at the data and everything. So I don't usually believe in curses. The Falcons might be cursed. This is unbelievable. Like what has happened to them this year, really the past, starting from 28-3. You feel terrible for their fans. So hopefully Penix can bounce back fully, but it's going to be the Kirk Cousins show from now on, and that's not great.
Bird down. If there's any positives here, they play the Saints in New Orleans, and so this is a game that maybe they can, no pun intended, establish the run.
All right, keep it open or close it out. It's what you've all been waiting for.
Oh, wait, no, we got one more, don't we? Oh, no, we're done. We're done
now.
There's one more piece of news, right? But
You tell
we'll get
me.
into it? I thought, all right. All right.
It's not now.
Okay, we're doing
Is
it later?
Browns related?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's related.
Okay. All right, good.
Yes.
Everyone knows I don't pay attention to the pre-show meeting. All right.
You don't even look at the rundown during the show.
I don't.
I actually respect you.
I never look at the rundown.
Yes.
And I'll tell you why. It keeps it fresh for me.
Right, a surprise element.
Spontaneous.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
It's great when you're a host of the show.
You'd be a great host for Pounding with George
Yes.
Kittle and Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Traffic cop. He doesn't look at the rundown.
45 minutes in, the show's gone nowhere. Anyways, Trevor Lawrence, he's got the Cardinals.
Respectfully, I've literally been on live TV or a version of live TV for over 20 years.
Right.
Like, yeah, I don't want to say I can do this in my sleep, but I can do this in my sleep.
Well, let's give it a try.
I might do it right now.
Yeah, I was going to say.
No, I don't need
come
the rundown.
close.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's actually fair.
All right, so
All right.
Trevor Lawrence, he's got the
Yeah.
Cardinals. Back-to-back games, though, with under 160 passing yards right now, Matthew. Is he... He's definitely not QB1 territory, we know that, but is he even startable in Superflex QB2 territory?
Yeah, I'm a QB17, so in theory, yes, he's Superflex 2 quarterback viable in a year where where you've got Nix and Mariota and Herbert all out on bye, all three very viable starters in leagues like that. Some people may have even been starting Tua. We don't know about Rodgers if he's going to play. So yeah, I suppose if you squint, he could be Superflex viable, but I'm closing it out on him in standard one quarterback leagues. It's just, he hasn't been good. Since week 3, he's had literally one game with multiple touchdown passes. Every once in a while he'll run one in, but he's not using his legs in a significant way. It's not a big part of this Jaguars offense. If there's a positive here, it looks like his pass catchers are going to get healthier. Like Jacoby Myers a little bit more. There's a chance we get Brian Thomas Jr. back as well. But this Cardinals defense is kind of plucky, honestly, right? They've allowed multiple touchdown passes only twice over the past 8 games. I don't know. There just doesn't feel like a ton of upside here for Trevor Lawrence, the Traveler.
Yeah, it's very on brand for the Jags that they just beat the Chargers 35-6, which is a momentous victory. They're 3-point dogs, and still don't really feel that much differently about Trevor Lawrence coming out there because he wasn't the story of the game. He didn't play poorly, but he didn't have a great game either. It was more defined by the defense and by the run game. So we'll see. These next 2 weeks, you would expect, going up against the Cardinals and the Titans the week after, you'd expect Trevor Lawrence and his Jags offense to light these teams up. These teams do not have good defenses, so this is a stretch for the Jags to go to 8-4, to get their offense on track. Jacoby Myers more integrated. There is scope for this team, and as they get more acclimatized to Liam Cohen's offense, there is upside here. It's just that we haven't seen it from Trevor.
Connor, have you ever heard the word climatized?
No, that's a new one.
That's a new one for Jay, yeah.
I believe that is a word. Acclimatized?
It might be.
I wouldn't put it past you.
Acclimated?
Acclimated is a word.
Acclimatized means adapted or prepared for a specific climate, often by controlling the temperature to make it comfortable.
There you go.
Sometimes you reach back into the bag, you don't know what you're going to find.
The Webster Dictionary.
Well, Noah Webster,
Noah drinks
a couple
free.
weeks ago.
Medici says Barry should get hair transplants and grow his hair out like Trevor. I would love that.
I would be opposed to that. It'd be too jarring. We can't have that.
Yeah, with the long the Fabio look, the long flowing locks.
If you're going to sell out all the way.
I've said that to all the kids always. If you sell out, sell out big. That's why I wrote Crocodile Dundee 3. Bought me a house. God bless. Bought me a big house.
You ready for the big Shedeur news?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because we're going to talk Quinshon Judkins against the Raiders. Quinshon Judkins, only one top 24 RB finish since week 6. Very quietly, by the way. He has not been rolling, as the Browns offense has not either. But, Matthew, a little bit of a spark here. Shedeur Sanders will start at quarterback for the Browns on Sunday. You probably couldn't ask for a better matchup.
Yeah, they're playing the Raiders, and they're playing the Raiders at Las Vegas. So it's not like they're going to be in windy Cleveland and it's cold. It's going to be inside a dome, and it's going to be very, very positive. You think about this Raiders defense, 17th against the pass over the last month, 19th in scoring defense. Now, Shedeur holds the ball a lot. Do I think Max Crosby gets home a few times? Yeah, I do, to be perfectly honest with you. But here's what I'll say about Shedeur. I got no idea. I literally have no idea. Could he be good for fantasy because of the rushing? I could see him running around. Could he be potentially useful? It's not a terrible matchup. I will just say this. For me, I can't imagine starting him. I wouldn't be. It wouldn't be crazy if he had a good fantasy day. Like he runs, he runs around, he gets you 45 yards, he throws a touchdown or two, sure. But I think there's going to be some picks, and kind of there's a reason why Sanders fell to the 5th round.
Yeah, which we thought was that was too far, but
Yeah,
him
sure.
being a day 2-ish quarterback probably made more sense. And you could see he holds the ball for a long time. They got to have a plan for Max Crosby in this game. As much as the Raiders are a punching bag at times, Max Crosby is awesome. And this isn't a team loaded with weapons, so you got to have the right script for him as well to make sure he's not drifting backwards and trying to make these crazy. Keep it simple for Shedeur Sanders. But I actually think he'll be fine in this. This is a nice landing spot for him, especially after a full week of practice.
Well, exactly. He's going to get the entire week with the ones, and so we will see. The people that have defended Shedeur Sanders have said that he has give him a fair chance. Well, he's now got a full chance. They've announced him as the starter. He's going to get all the first team reps. It's a decent matchup in a good environment, Jay. So we'll see. From my point of view, it's going to be fun. It's going to be
it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be
compelling.
It's going to be compelling.
Right.
This week got suddenly a lot more interesting because he is a compelling figure. There's no question.
If this is Dylan Gabriel against the Raiders, no one cares about this game.
No one cares.
Now everyone cares about this
sure.
game, which is good for the product and good for all the viewers. But I think to me the most interesting thing is
Are any Browns startable this week?
Quinshon Judkins is the only one. And so to me, actually, he is kind of the most interesting guy here because you're not starting any Browns wide receivers.
But I think he's an upgrade for them compared to Gabriel, who could just not throw the ball outside the numbers.
So the question to me is...
He's got a deep...
But it's how much of an upgrade.
Right.
Yeah. So the Browns have been worst in terms of yards before contact generated for Judkins. Just had no chance behind this offensive line in this offense. And I think a big part of that is because they know that Dylan Gabriel can't throw the ball down the field, opposing defenses do. And so it was just like they were playing 5 guys on a basketball court and none of them can shoot. Just the spacing is so cramped for this offense. So maybe Shedeur just his threat to move around, to throw it a bit deeper than Gabriel did. Maybe that opens up some stuff for Judkins. So he would be the only guy of any interest.
Yeah, you see it there on your screen. I have him ranked at number 22 among running backs this week in my initial ranks. And so the argument for Quinshon Judkins is his volume. Right? He's had at least 17 touches in 7 of his 8 completed games. He's had 4 different games with over 20 touches. So just massive volume. And in Shedeur Sanders' first game as a starter, maybe they lean on him even more, Judkins, that is, to try to take some pressure off the young quarterback. Raiders have given up at least 100 yards rushing to a running back in 3 of their past 4 games. You can run in Las Vegas. I know Javonte Williams didn't have a massive fantasy game, but it's not like there wasn't room to run. And so I am reluctantly keeping it open on Judkins. He doesn't catch passes, and we don't know what this offense is going to look like under Sanders, but I think, I don't know what his prop for rushing attempts is, but I would take the over.
Yep.
Just when we were in on another young running back in Woody Marks, who has the Bills this week, he's been under 7 points in 2 of his past 3 games, Jay. It just feels like the Texans can't consistently run the football this year, which means you'd need Woody Marks to catch a bunch of dump-offs.
Yep. I wonder how much of our perception of Marks is skewed, though, by the fact that Jeffrey Simmons was back in that game for the Titans, and he just completely changes what they can do as a defense overall. If he's he should have been getting some defensive player of the year consideration before he got hurt. Shouldn't have, not with Garrett and Parsons, but the next tier down. And so I think that it was a tougher matchup because of that than expected. But now he gets a Bills team that just gets eviscerated on the ground repeatedly. So Devin Achane did to them a couple weeks ago. So Sean Tucker did to them last week. Clearly the Texans are going to have to try and lean on the run because they don't want this game on Davis Mills' shoulders going head-to-head with Josh Allen. So I would still keep it open on Woody Marks, albeit without inspiration.
You know what? I agree with you, Jay. I'm also keeping it open. He's my running back 25 this week. The positives of Woody Marks are...
Is he climatized?
He's climatized, sure. Climatized, acclimated.
It's a great word. You guys can use that if you want.
I like it.
The Woodler. Look, Dwayne McFarland at FantasyLife.com does a great article. I think one of, if not the most useful article in fantasy football every week called the Utilization Report. It's 100% free, FantasyLife.com. I'm company man. But one of the things that he put in his article this week was just look at the underlying. Yes, Woody Marks, it has not shown up in the box score just yet, but he is clearly taking over the role of starting running back for the Houston Texans. Over the past 2 weeks, 77% of the Texans running back touches. He's gotten 86% of their goal-to-go rushing attempts, and his 2 highest snap rates of the season have come in the last 2 weeks as well. And you think about this Buffalo defense. You can run on Buffalo, as we've seen throughout the year. And by the way, even if Buffalo starts putting up points and Josh Allen goes nuts and everything like that, like if they're down and they're trailing, as you know, they're significant underdogs to the Bills, Marks is their third down back. He's going to be passing down back. So, you know, does he get into the end zone? Probably not. But my running back 25, I'm keeping it open on him. And I do think Woody Marks is a buy low as we approach the trade deadline, because I do think he's their best running back and will continue to get usage. It just hasn't translated into fantasy points just yet. Aloha Brooks with a really good question.
Yes, full PPR. Woody Marks or R.J. Harvey? Got to start one this week, unfortunately.
Well, I'm going to give you the answer. It's Woody Marks this week because R.J. Harvey's on a bye.
Right.
There you go. I got one right.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
You could worry about a Woody Marks fumble and getting negative points, and you start R.J. Harvey instead, but you probably want to start Woody Marks.
Let's roll this one back if Woody Marks gets hurt on an opening snap fumble.
But I think, but where I thought that
R.J. Harvey.
Where I thought that question was going, and I think it's a really interesting one, Connor. Rest of the season, Woody Marks or R.J. Harvey?
Woody Marks.
Woody Marks. C.J. Stroud will come back.
I can't play the Sean Payton.
Yeah. Harvey got more work. I mean, again,
running back
similar to what Marks, more usage than fantasy production showed up. And hopefully out of the bye, maybe they get some of the pass pro things. But I'm probably with you. I'd rather Woody Marks, who I know is the starter and only has Nick Chubb as competition, than
whatever Sean Payton wakes
up. Whatever Sean Payton wants to do. And
Jaleel McLaughlin.
Right.
He makes it spin, and it's like, Jaleel, red zone back.
Evan Ingram, I want you to do the Taysom Hill roll all of a sudden, you know, and Bo Nix is always a threat at the goal line. And so, aloha, Bricks. Bad look on you. I think he literally just lost 2 spots in the regular power rankings.
I actually like it. It's good. It's good fodder for the show.
By the way, if America wasn't ready for this, and he's expecting the Broncos to start falling off at some point, because it doesn't feel like they're a 9-2 1 seed, you know what their next 2 games are after the bye?
Who's that?
Your Commanders and the Raiders.
Oh man.
The team's going to be 11-2. Ending pole position for the 1 seed in the AFC. So everyone brace themselves emotionally for that.
You know what's fun? What's exciting for me is that game against the Commanders.
Yeah.
Sunday Night Football right here on NBC and Peacock. So, I get to, national, millions upon millions of people get to watch us get our ass kicked.
The Berries bet is going to be like an absolute hate bet against the Commanders.
What percentage chance Jaden Daniels is the quarterback for that game?
I would say 0.
Oh, wow.
He's not on IR, is he?
He is not on IR.
Wouldn't he be on IR now if he was 0?
He should be.
But
maybe they haven't done it yet because they don't need to because they're on a bye this week. But why? They're 3-8. He's the franchise. It's the same argument
as Joe Burrow combo.
Yeah.
It is the Joe Burrow combo.
Would you bring
football players want to play football?
I get that. Sometimes save players from themselves.
Yeah, but good franchises don't do that.
I know. That is honestly, if you were to ask Pete or producer Steven, producer Adam, producer Damien, what their job is, it is to save me from myself.
That is
literally number one on, and they're so at it, to be honest with you.
It's viable.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn definitely coming back if they go 4-13.
I think so.
He's got to.
I think he has a lot of goodwill with ownership.
I think he is. I think too much. There's so much success in year number 1. You can chalk it up to all the injuries, obviously, in year 2. And the other thing is that Josh Harris and the ownership group of the Commanders are not reactionary. And I think the other thing I'll say, I don't have any kind of inside source on this, but just my take on the outside is that Josh Harris and that ownership group are really, really aware of all the things that Dan Snyder did and how everything he did wrong. And they are desperately, whatever. If Dan Snyder did red, they want to do green.
Yeah, you can't have an RJ3 sequel here.
Right. Dan Snyder fired a lot of coaches quickly.
You don't want that reputation.
You don't want that reputation.
It's hard to keep hiring people.
Yeah, so it'll be tough. I will say, I thought I was worried at the beginning of the season that Cliff Kingsbury was going to leave for a head coaching job, and I don't think that's going to happen anymore. It's cooling. Although there's so many college openings right now.
I don't think anyone wants to go back to college anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's still getting paid by the Cardinals, too. I mean, he's still
Cliff hasn't
financially
figured it
well
out.
off.
Yeah. Cliff hasn't figured it out. Our last running back is Tyrone Tracy. He's got the Lions, but back from the dead here, Matthew. Season high 17.9 points last week. And maybe Jackson Dart returns for this game.
Which we hope so for, but, they're at Detroit, which I don't love this matchup. No team allows fewer fantasy points to opposing running backs than the Detroit Lions. The last time a running back scored 12 or more fantasy points against Detroit was week 4. All the way back in week 4. Singletary still got the touchdowns last week. So I'm closing it out on Tyrone Tracy. He's my running back 27. Especially, by the way, Jackson Dart back tells me that there's even less of a chance that Tracy gets in the end zone because they've been using Singletary since Scadaboo went down.
Right.
And then you've got Dart.
The Dartler is the touchdownler.
He is the touchdowner.
Him and Tyler Algier.
Yeah.
Same usage at the goal line.
I mean, basically. So could you squint and make him a desperation flex in a 12-team or deeper league? Sure, but I'm closing it out on Tyrone Tracy this week against the Lions.
Let's go to the wide receivers. Romeo Doubs against the Vikings, under 10 points in 3 of his past 4 games, Jay. And as we always say with the Packers, it's very convoluted figuring out who the pass catchers are on a week-by-week basis in this group.
It is. Romeo Doubs, he was so touchdown dependent, and as the touchdowns have dried up, so have his value for the most part. Good game against the Panthers, but outside of that, he hasn't done a great deal. I do think it's encouraging that Jordan Love has all played really well in the wind against the Giants. And also this Vikings pass defense, which was among the top 3-4 best in the league last year, it's not as imposing. I think it's a tell, Connor, that Brian Flores has ramped up the blitz button even more. Like, he's blitzing just insane amount. He's blitzing like 60% of the time last month, which to me just tells me that he's not confident his defense can hold up.
Which is usually the tell with him. Whenever his corners and secondary starts to struggle, he presses the blitz button literally as much as anyone in football. So
I love it. I respect it. If I'm going to die, I'll die quickly.
It's the Greg Williams take, like die on the sword, and Brian Flores lives by that. But I think there's more strategy behind it with Flores compared to Greg Williams. So Romeo Doubs, Matthew, startable?
Yeah, weirdly, kinda, yeah. I mean, so I'm at wide receiver 26, so I've been a mid-tier wide receiver 3, so I'm keeping it open on Romeo Doubs. Like, for the past 6 games, he's had at least a 28% target share, 50 or more receiving yards in each of those 4 games. And since week 7, Vikings bottom 10 in terms of most fantasy points allowed to opposing running backs. It does feel like if there is a go-to guy for Jordan Love, it is, in fact, Romeo Doubs. I know, Watson bailed him out a couple of times last week, and they'll take their shots to Christian Watson, but Doubs is top 10 among all wide receivers in end zone targets this year. Like, when they get close, he looks from, especially with Tucker Kraft out.
On the other side of this game, guys, Jordan Addison.
Before we get there, actually, real quickly, just some news. Just got an alert here. As long as we're talking Packers, I thought this was semi-interesting. Matt LaFleur says Josh Jacobs will not practice today. Quote, the plan is to try to get him healthy enough to go, and it's just going to be a day-by-day thing. He is truly day-to-day. And that's tweeted by Ryan Wood, who covers the Packers, but that's a quote from LaFleur. Normally you just sort of think that's coach speak, and it's clearly going to be Emmanuel Wilson, but Josh Jacobs is one of those dudes
he's arguably the toughest guy in the NFL.
Yeah, he's like the running back version of Michael Pittman, where whenever he's questionable, he just plays. Remember he had that crazy hamstring strain against the Seahawks in that game where the broadcast cut off and no one got to watch his 80-yard touchdown run in overtime to walk it off?
Yeah,
he was questionable for the game with a hamstring.
He had 40-something fantasy points in that game, and no one wanted to start him because it was a late game, and he was just like, I don't know, and he didn't practice on Friday, and then he shows up and not only plays but has a massive fantasy day. So
walk-off touchdown in overtime.
Yes.
He's won the rushing title that year.
And how about now that he's not week to week?
Yeah. Day to day.
I think any Josh Jacobs fantasy manager would be like, I'll sign up for just 1 missed game.
Yeah.
We're kind of bracing for 2, 3, you never know with the lower body running back injury.
I feel like he's played through broken collarbones and stuff. He's ridiculous, in terms of how incredibly tough he is. So anyway, normally you just say LaFleur. We all know, that if Shanahan said that about McCaffrey, we're like, all right, so that means he's out 4 weeks. But but LaFleur, anyway, because you're talking about Josh Jacobs, there is hope.
There's hope.
We could see number 8 on Sunday.
I like when I randomly poke in the chat and I just see Valiant Vincent saying, still waiting for Jay to announce he's renamed one of his daughters Alec and another Pierce.
Yeah, when's that happening?
Great, Alec. Alec's a great name.
For a young girl.
Yeah, for a young girl.
Pierce is a cool name.
I know you have a significant amount of money on the Colts.
Yes,
correct.
I'm a Colts man.
You're a Colts man. You're for the shoe.
Need the shoe.
If the Colts come home for you?
Sure.
And you win all the money that you have wagered.
Yeah.
What will you do?
I'll get my name on the show.
I don't think he does. He doesn't do anything.
Right.
I think he's happy he won.
He's happy he's won, and then he takes that money and bets it on something else.
Exactly.
The show rolls on.
This
is my life.
And it's but maybe
There'll be another thing after.
I'm gonna throw something out to you. You know what you should do with that money? All that money. You have 3 young daughters.
Yeah.
You know what they would love, and what would be appropriate? Buy them a pony.
Great. Yeah,
come
that's
on,
great.
for the shoe.
Pony.
Yeah, maybe I can name the pony Alec.
There you go.
Nice. It's a good pony name.
Yeah.
It is a good pony name. Or Colt. Buy him a Colt.
Could buy them a Colt. You know, initially,
Your wife would love this.
one of my daughters, her name is Remy, which was going to be our name if we had a boy, and then we found out it was a girl, and we're like, screw it, we'll call her Remy anyway. So same deal with Alec. So we've already got one. Alec might be a bit more of a stretch, but perhaps.
Yeah, figure it out.
Jay's pony named Alec.
Yeah.
All right,
Exactly.
Jordan Addison, please.
I just think you should be a pony owner if it comes through. You'll be able. If you've bet the amount of money you'll win, you could afford.
I don't recommend owning a pony.
No, it seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, it
I can
is.
barely change my own tire.
You're not doing it. Sophia's going to do this.
I can't change my own tire.
Yeah, of course. Everyone knows that.
Jordan Addison, we're being ushered off the stage and on to Jordan Addison. 8.3 points per game in J.J. McCarthy's 3 starts. I don't think that surprises anybody, Matthew. It's just, now to be fair, he dropped a big one last week, but it's just not rolling. It's not clicking right now with McCarthy under center.
It certainly has not. He's caught only 32% of his targets from J.J. McCarthy this season. All that said, the volume has been there. Back-to-back games with at least a 22% target share. He got 3 end zone targets in the stretch. As you mentioned, if he catches that one, I think the narrative is a little bit different about Jordan Addison. With J.J. McCarthy starting, his average depth of target is over 16 yards. They're taking some deep shots here. They're playing the Packers. I'm at wide receiver 29. So I'm reluctant. He's a low-end wide receiver 3, but I am reluctantly keeping it open on Jordan Addison. I'm just banking on the high-scoring nature of this. Well, actually, not high-scoring nature, but I'm taking the over on the 40.5 for
script?
For the script, and I don't know. This is the Vikings season. This is a big one for them.
Total's only 40.5.
That's what it says on my sheet. Yeah,
Seems low.
That's what I'm saying. I'm taking the over on that.
I mean,
Yeah. I guess it's
get it.
it's wrong to J.J. McCarthy.
I think it's egregious. And the Packers, they win, but man, it's not.
Yeah.
Every time I look up,
the game's in Green Bay.
Yeah.
The game's in Green Bay as well. But I don't know. I'm encouraged by. God, if you squint, I'm talking myself into it. You watch me talk myself into it live on air. But McCarthy was really good down the stretch on that one drive.
Sure. Yeah, we'll never forget that.
Yeah. The preceding.
Come on, you got to have something else.
Yeah.
Again,
he's no good. McCarthy's the worst quarterback in the league. Maybe Sanders will take the mantle from him this week, but for now, he's the worst quarterback.
I agree that he
Fields
is, but I believe in Addison's talent, and I don't believe they're going to be able to run on Green Bay, and so I do think they're going to have to throw, and Jefferson will get a lot of targets, and so they are taking deep shots. Addison only needs one to make your day. Again, he's wide receiver 29, but I am reluctantly
Classic.
keeping it open.
Every time
I'm the Fensler.
Yeah, the fence.
Yes, yes. There you go.
I'm the Fensler.
To your point, Connor, about the Packers keeping these games close, every time I look up at a Packers game, it's like they're fighting for their lives in the fourth quarter agast the Bengals, against the Panthers, the Browns, the Giants. Just win a game by 10.
Nope.
Just win a game by 10, Green Bay. But this will be a good test for them because they really should handle the Vikings.
You think LaFleur loses? If they don't make the playoffs, you think LaFleur
Well, if they
gets
don't
fired?
make the playoffs in a year where you were a Super Bowl contender, it'd be on the table.
But I'm just saying you've got Detroit and Chicago in that division that are both sort of
trending the
right way.
Chicago also keeps getting away with it.
Yeah.
They don't make the playoffs, which is feasible, especially with how good Seattle is. The wild card in the NFC is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would be a combo.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't think it's been a great year for LaFleur.
He'd have another job.
Sure.
But yes, it would be. That's a tough one.
Again, you're never rooting for anyone to lose their job, but I do think he's a little bit on the hot seat, which at the beginning of the year I would have said no way.
Yeah.
No way.
Right. To be fair, and to backtrack what I just said before, they do have the 4th ranked offense in EPA per play. The offense has been efficient. It looks ugly. It just doesn't look right. And in big spots, they haven't looked great. The Eagles game was a bit of a mess. But yeah, I still think Matt LaFleur's an excellent coach.
But anyway, this is a big game against the Vikings. Be interesting for both teams.
Huge
for both
game.
teams.
All right, our last wide receiver is Rashid Shaheed here, Jay. He's got the Titans, but he has not he's not averaged even 5 points per game since being traded to Seattle.
Yeah, it's strange. I think we thought that the transition process would be pretty seamless, given that he'd already played for Clint Kubiak last year. Just doesn't feel like he's entirely up to speed. Him and Darnold not on the same page. Now, you get the best matchup possible, just about, against a Titans team that loves giving up explosive pass plays. Only the Commanders, I believe, are worse in that department, though the Raiders might be giving them a run for their money soon. But the targets went up, which is good to see against the Rams. Donald did go to him with 1 second left, allegedly 1 second left with the game on the line. But I think with Shaheed, you need to see it a little bit more before you start him with confidence.
Look, there's always a chance that he gets deep for one, and against the Titans, obviously, that chance is amplified. But I'm going to close it out. You mentioned the target share. You know, yes, it's trending up, but it's still not great. In both games since being traded to the Seahawks, he's had a below 12% target share. So they're just not throwing a ton to him. And in this game, I don't expect them to throw a ton, period. In games in which the Seahawks win by 10 or more points, they're currently 13.5-point favorites, right? In games in which the Seahawks win by double-digit points, Darnold's averaging just 21 pass attempts a game. Like, they just don't need – against Tennessee, he's just not going to need to throw a ton. I think Walker has a big game. I think the defense could get a score. Like, it just so I'm closing it out on Rashid Shaheed. We sort of agree. I want to see it in Seattle, and I don't know this is necessarily the week.
Finally, the Hunter Henry portion of the show. He's got the Bengals, who have been dreadful against tight ends, but Hunter Henry, since week 5, tight end 31 in points per game. Something's got to give, Matthew, in this one.
He's been pretty tough. There's no question about it, as they found other ways to move the ball. You know, Diggs and Quinshon Judkins and Mac Hollins and TreVeyon Henderson, obviously, and just Hunter Henry's kind of become a forgotten man. As you sort of see it there on your screen, not more than 51 receiving yards in any game since week 5, has just 1 touchdown since week 5. All that said, it's Cincinnati. You had me at Cincinnati, right? You know, no team allows more yards, no team's allowed more touchdowns, and no team allows more fantasy points to opposing tight ends than your Cincinnati Bengals. They've allowed 70 yards or more to a tight end in every single game this year. Literally every single game this year, they've allowed at least 70 yards to a tight end, over 100 yards in 8 of 10 games. 9 different tight ends have scored double-digit fantasy points against the Bengals. So this is all about the Bengals, not anything about Hunter Henry's usage, but we like the talent. We know he is decent. So I'm at tight end 12. I'm as a low-end tight end 1 this week. I'm keeping it open on Hunter Henry. And watch him have a huge game, and then we've got to talk about him next Tuesday on waivers. Welcome back to waivers, Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
You know,
Hunter Henry and Tajay Spears will
right.
pump him back up.
He's the Bono of this show. And you're like, what's a Bono? And I'm going to tell you this story very quickly. No, come on. I got 45 seconds. I can tell the story.
Tell the story.
Back in Hollywood, a long time ago, Sonny Bono had you remember Sonny and Cher? Sonny Bono had a restaurant called Bono's. And it was on this particular restaurant and on this corner, and it went out of business. And then there was another restaurant there, and like 6 months later, it went out of business. And like for like 2.5 years, there were like 4 or 5 restaurants in this spot that just could never get going. And so when I was a sitcom writer, and you were on a script, and there'd always be, an episode, there'd be one joke that you could never nail. And like every day you'd come up with a joke, and you'd go to the stage and you'd rehearse it, and it would fall flat, and you're like, all right, we got to work on that joke again, or that setup. And so we always called it a Bono. You know what I mean? Just because you have to keep trying. It just keeps coming back because it's never successful. Hunter Henry is a Bono.
Okay. Well, I thought we were going with the Irish singer, but yeah.
I was very confused.
It
started as Bono.
Yeah.
I probably said Bono. Sorry, I meant Bono.
To recap, keep it open or close it out. Trevor Lawrence is a close at QB 17. Quinshon Judkins and Woody Marks both stay open as top 25 plays. Tyrone, Tracy, he's a close right outside the top 25. Romeo Doubs is open at wide receiver 26, as is Jordan Addison. Desperation open or reluctant open at wide receiver 29. Rashid Shaheed, he's a close at wide receiver 48. He's averaging less than 5 points per game since the trade. Hunter Henry, the Bengals, every tight end has feasted on them, so he is a tight end 1 technically as a tight end 12. He stays open. We're taking our first break. When we're back, blind date is back.
Oh, no.
My God.
Oh, goodness.
Well, is
that Michael
Not
Keaton?
Bad. Should I get Trevor Lawrence hair? We've got a poll. I would do shorter. Like I would just honestly, what I would actually do is I would probably keep my forehead. You know what I mean? Like just like I wouldn't go crazy, but I would just up here. It would just be just more. I would fill in my
Oh God, AI very troubling.
But, see the vote. Should I do that? Should I get the Trevor Lawrence hair? Go ahead and vote.
Well, yep, vote. We'll be back.
right, we are back with America's favorite game show, Blind Date. I have a bunch of players that Jay and Connor don't know who they are. We'll see if they can guess it or not. Of course, everyone goes to a bar for their blind dates. That's the premise of the bit here as well. So let's talk about, they're all running backs today.
Oh, wow.
They're all running backs today. And also, by the way, we're not doing any splits. These are no splits. You know, we usually do the splits. So here's a running back that, 42nd in designed rush share, 54th and inside the 5 rush attempts, but middle of the pack in utilization score. However, fantasy points per game, he's low end RB2. Any idea who this is?
No, this is anonymous RB2.
Yeah,
they put together a tough one for you. Real clues here as well. So the reason why these numbers are so low is because it's TreVeyon Henderson, who was not used early in the season, but has now obviously picked it up. The most important thing is that the rest of the way, the Patriots have the easiest remaining schedule for running backs. They're at Cincinnati this week, obviously. Then the Giants, they have a bye. Buffalo, at Baltimore, at the Jets, home to Miami. Like, there's not one good run defense they face the rest of the way as well. Now, up to this point, they've had 6 easiest, but I do think TreVeyon Henderson is very much a buy if you can get him, even a quote-unquote buy high for the fantasy playoffs. Even when Ramondre comes back, I think Henderson is going to continue to have significant fantasy value. All right, let's talk about, here's running back number 2. Also tough to, 6th in route participation, 18th in utilization score. So he's being used a ton, but he's just 29th in fantasy points per game.
Is this Woody Marks?
It's a close guess, but no.
No, I'm not too sure. Who do you got?
Well, it's obviously a receiving back that's used a lot, but not particularly good.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's Alvin Kamara. The one thing, though, is, again, that utilization score of 18th. Like, he's being used a lot, especially in the passing game. And it's worth noting that the Saints have the second easiest schedule remaining for running backs. Falcons, Miami, Tampa Bay. That's not a great one. But then Carolina, the Jets, at Tennessee, at Atlanta. So you don't love Atlanta this week. Pretty good run defense. But the rest, and Tampa Bay is a little tough. But other than that, pretty easy schedule. Second easiest remaining schedule for running backs. He is getting volume. Like, there's not much you can hang your hat on here, Jay, but he is at least out there.
Yeah, and that's ultimately the most important thing, to be out there to compile stats.
So with Kamara, if you could get him cheap, he might be a usable flex the rest of the way, just given the schedule, how that matches up. All right, let's go to running back number 3. This is a running back that's just one of the top, right? He's top 10, top 11 in utilization score, route participation, inside the 5-yard rushing attempts, and designed rush share. So this is somebody that obviously, these all numbers obviously from fantasylife.com, all the underlying data that we use with the utilization report, 18th in fantasy points per game. Any thoughts here?
Kyron Williams?
That's a good guess. It's not Kyron Williams, but it's close. It's that kind of player. It's that kind of player who's, used a ton, but the fantasy points just haven't resulted a little bit.
Is it Chase Brown?
It is Chase Brown.
Wow.
Let's go, Connor. Very hard. And listen, Samaje Perine has missed the last couple of weeks, but honestly, they just had a really tough schedule, and now it gets a lot easier for the Bengals. They have the 4th easiest remaining running back schedule. New England this week, not great, but then at Baltimore, at Buffalo, Baltimore, at Miami, Arizona. So it's a pretty easy schedule, 4th easiest for running backs. Up until this point, they had the hardest schedule for opposing running backs. Let's go to running back number 4. This is somebody who has, top 12 in goal-to-go rush attempts, design rush share. Obviously not a passing down back. His route participation just 47th. And he's, 23rd in utilization score. So feels like a first, second down grinder. He's 17th in fantasy points per game.
Jaylen Warren?
Nope. That's wrong. And it was not particularly close.
Javonte Williams?
That's a closer guess. No, it's my guy Derrick Henry, King Henry, who Jay says should be backing up Keaton Mitchell.
That's right.
Well, apparently I'm correct.
Yeah, well, Henry's obviously getting a lot of work, but he's a first and second down back. He's not used in the passing game. But the reason we bring him up is the Ravens have the 11th easiest remaining schedule for running back. Up to this point, it was third hardest. So just Lamar being back, Ravens making a playoff run, a hopeful playoff run. I think Henry should finish this season strong if you've managed to hang tough with him so far. And let's do one more running back here real quickly. So this is a running back, obviously, that's kind of all over the place. Like he's, designed rush share is 9th, route preservation 10th, utilization score 9th. So being used a lot, except when they get in close. They're using this guy a ton, but just not when they get in close because he's 37th in inside the 5-yard rush attempts.
Oh, wow. This is a tricky one.
I actually think this one's obvious.
Devon Achane?
No,
Oh, no.
somebody that's used a lot except when they get in close.
Bijan Robinson?
But he has.
That's a great.
He has more points.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
He has more points than.
It's Saquon Barkley.
Oh boy.
Is the answer here? Eagles have the 3rd easiest remaining schedule for running backs. Up to this point, it was 9th hardest. Eagles play the Cowboys this week, then Chicago, at the Chargers, home to Las Vegas, at my Washington Commanders, at Buffalo, and then Washington again. That's a great schedule for Saquon down the stretch. So I think some of these running backs, hopefully, the idea here was like, hey, these are some running backs that you might be able to get cheap, or even if you have to pay, quote, market value, we think their value will go up the rest of the year because of their remaining schedule. These are all running backs that have really easy schedules for running backs the rest of the way. Trade deadline, of course, in a week for most leagues.
All right, we're going to take our last break. When we're back to the futures, our favorite awards and futures bets right after this. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app and use promo code FFHH when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook.
Oh, the crown is yours! Whose crown is it? It's yours.
The crown is ours. It's Back to the Futures, Jay. What do you got your eye on?
I'll take the Cowboys over 7.5 wins, a plus 120. They've already got 4 wins, so they need to go 500 the rest of the way for this to cash. It is a difficult schedule, but they still have the Commanders and the Giants final 2 weeks, which should be 2 wins. Vikings at home as well. Chargers, I think they'll be favored in that game. And then you hope that I think they can go 1-2 over this next stretch against the Eagles, Chiefs at Lions.
All right, Matthew, what about you?
Yeah, I'm taking the Chargers to miss the playoffs at plus 130. Look at the schedule out of the bye. Okay, they got the Raiders in week 13. All right, not tough. But then Eagles, at Chiefs, at Cowboys, which they're a better defense, home to the Texans, at the Broncos. We figure the Chiefs are going to make a run. The AFC wildcard really crowded as well. So I'm saying Chargers don't make the playoffs at plus 130.
I'm going with the Titans under 2.5 wins. This is plus money, believe it or not.
Wow.
To go, so I don't see 2 more wins. The games are the Browns and the Saints that you would view as winnable games. Yeah. I don't think the Titans are better than either of those teams right now, and they still have to win both of them, not just one of them. Yeah. So I was a little surprised to see this at plus 100. I think the Titans are going to be probably a 2-win team picking number 1 overall.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Here are the poll results. Should I get Trevor Lawrence hair? 54% say yes.
Go.
45% say please God no, it hurts my eyes.
It's going to be a fun offseason.
Yeah.
When are you gonna show it off?
Probably, I guess.
Debut it.
Maybe tomorrow.
Okay,
All right.
that's fast.
That music means it's close to time. You don't have to go home, but you can stay here. For Jay and Connor, I'm Matthew. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.